What's going on, folks? My name is Joe, aka Jake to the OE. Welcome or welcome back to Joe Eats Games, where we talk about video games, food, nerd stuff, or anything else that's going on in my life. The Nintendo Switch 2 has been out for 2 months now, and some people are disappointed, and some people are super happy. Honestly, for me, I'm a little bit in the middle, but today we're gonna talk about why people are a little bit disappointed with Switch 2. Before we get into any of that, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We are almost on the way to 700 subs. So, would you help me get there? And while you're at it, let me know in the comments section, are you really into the Switch 2? Are you disappointed in the Switch 2? Or are you just kind of in the middle? Like you're pretty happy with a more powerful Switch 1, but you wish there was a little bit more. Honestly, that's where I am right now. Like, man, I love the Switch 2 because I can play all my Switch 1 games so much better. But, yeah, I wish there was more actual Switch 2 offerings to begin with. Not including game keycards, which we'll talk about later. But I think the biggest reason why people are disappointed with the Switch 2 is because the Switch 1 was such a banger. It was so good, especially when you compare it to the previous console, which was the Wii U, which honestly completely flopped. Now, I think the Wii U is super underrated. I have the Wii U. I'm still playing the Wii U. There's a few things that I love to play on the Wii U, like Wii Party U and the Wario U game, Wii U game. Like, I love playing that game. The Zombie U was, way ahead of its time, and I think it's cool. I have a very small collection of Wii U products. But if we're honest, it didn't do well. And so the bar for the next system was so low that Switch 1 was great, it blew it out of the water. And then the Switch 1 lineup, the two flagship titles, you got Mario, you got Zelda Breath of the Wild, even though Breath of the Wild was technically a Wii U thing as well. But still, everyone was really excited, and you had your two flagship titles ready to go within the first year of the Switch 1. So because you've already started so high in the Switch 1, honestly, it's nearly impossible to get there. Even the Switch 1 was only reminiscent of how amazing the PlayStation 2 was in sales. It's almost catching up. It's almost there. Even though, if you look, the numbers change. Somehow there's an extra 40 million copies of PlayStation 2 sold. I don't know how that happened, but they're trying to stay number one, But because the standard was so high, it was you had to come up with some other gimmick. I don't know. Nintendo Switch 2DS or something. Something where it had to be even more crazy. So because that standard was already so high with the Switch 1, it was nearly impossible to get to a place where people would be like, wow, mind blown with the next Switch 2. I think, the success of the Switch 1 left people a little bit more disappointed with the Switch 2 because there wasn't anything new or groundbreaking from it, which I was honestly okay with because I really, really enjoy the hybrid of handheld and home console. And so I didn't want to give that up with whatever that new Switch was going to be or the new Nintendo system was going to be. And I'm really glad that we really have a more powerful Switch. The next reason why I think people are disappointed is because those flagship titles that I mentioned, Zelda and Mario, they don't have it out just yet. They haven't made some sort of announcement just yet on those guys. Yes, I understand. People love Donkey Kong. People love Metroid. But not as many people. Those are, don't shoot the messenger, second tier to Mario and Zelda. There's a reason why only Mario and Zelda got Game & Watches for their anniversary. Because they're the most popular. Yeah, I would have bought a Metroid anniversary Game & Watch. I would have bought a Kirby anniversary Game & Watch. I might have even bought the Donkey Kong anniversary Game & Watch. Even if it was just the NES and you got Donkey Kong or Donkey Kong Jr. Actually, yeah. Nintendo, get with that, because, man, I'm going to buy that. I think that's great. But in all actuality, I mean, Metroid Dread was the best, I think, 2D Metroid out there. And it didn't do anywhere as good as any of the Zeldas or Mario. And yeah, so when you go with, dare I say, a lesser tier, an A tier instead of an S tier, not as many people are going to get excited about that. And, you know, it's still good. I'm not saying Metroid Prime 4 is going to be bad. Or, you know, I know a lot of you guys love DK Bonanza. It wasn't me. But, hey, more power to you. Another reason why I think people are disappointed with the Switch 2 is really the game keycards. Now, I talked about this in one of my previous videos. Feel free to watch it up there. That I have a dilemma of my own with the game keycard because I really do want to preserve physical games. I care about game preservation, and game keycards and any of the other ones from PS5 to Xbox, it's not a good way to preserve your games. Like, you know, my grandkids aren't going to be able to play those game keycards, and I want them to. In the same way that I loved it when my son started playing Duck Hunt, and it reminded me when I played Duck Hunt. Like, I loved it. And I want, you know, his son to have that same experience as his dad with the Switch. And yeah, so I think people are just a little bit turned off with the game keycard. Even me, I want to buy it, but I'm still really, really hesitant. Especially when I get like, oh, the Switch 1 cartridge has the entire game on it, but the Switch 2 is just a game keycard. I am more inclined to get the Switch 1. And I don't know. I really don't want it to bother me because I buy game key discs for the PS5 all the time, but I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about the Switch that makes me more hesitant. So at least I know which ones are game key cards too. So you got that going. And really, the last reason why I think people are disappointed with the Switch 2 is because y'all just not happy people. You would have been disappointed if the Switch 2 would have been OLED and then it was $600 because it was OLED. You would have been disappointed if it had a new gimmick and you're like, well, now it's not backwards compatible to my Switch 1. There's always something to complain about. For some reason, our ears are drawn to dissonance. And we like to hear dissonance instead of harmony. But really, I want to choose harmony. I want to choose to be happy. I want to choose to look at the bright side of things because there's a lot of great things about the Switch 2. There's a lot of great things about that whole concept of handheld and home console hybrid. What a time to be alive where I can play Zelda in the bathroom. What a time to be alive where I can play Madden in the bathroom. Like, come on. I can play Madden without an internet connection in my car. Mario at work during the break. Like, what a time. Like, this is a really, really interesting and great time to be a gamer. You know, technology is really happening really fast. And everyone is always behind because the tech is just getting so much better. Yes, whatever will come out today, there will always be a better version tomorrow. That is just the nature of technology. But if we choose to live in the moment, and if we choose to be happy with what we have today, life won't be so bad, you know? Yes, protest for things that are right. Yes, there are things that are wrong in this world, but it's video games, man. There's other things to really get your pants in a knot, as they say. Do they say that? I don't know. I'm from the Philippines, man. I don't know the sayings. Anyways, that's enough of a rant for me. What do you think about the Switch 2 again? Are you disappointed? Are you happy? What are your wishes for the Switch 2? What can't you wait on? You know, I can't wait for a new Zelda and hopefully Mario Odyssey 2. Like, I think that's going to be really, really fun. I can't wait for a new Fire Emblem. Man, I think that's going to be great, you know. Yeah, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you later, or I will see you another time.